Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And today we're going to be evaluating all the red cards in Core Set 2019.
We're gonna evaluate them for limited, like draft or sealed, like your upcoming pre-release, where you get 6 packs of them.
Yeah, and we're going to be evaluating these cards according to our 3-tiered system. By now you should know what these tiers are. Tier 1, these are the cards that when you the game pushes you into the color hard. Tier 2, multiples of these push you into the color, otherwise it's an auto include if you're already in that color. Tier 3 are your filler cards, and the rest of the cards are either bad or too situational, so we're going to put those aside. So let's get started with the common cards. The first of our commons is Shock. For a single red, it's an instant that deals 2 damage to any target. This is a really nice piece of conditional removal because it outright kills creatures with toughness 2 or less, and we could also use it as a combat trick to get through a little bit of extra damage when people have blocked in a way that they think will lead to their creature not dying, and then Shock will give us that extra little push to kill those creatures.
And it deals damage to planeswalkers and opponents. So if you only need 2 damage to kill them, you can do it with this.
Exactly, nice.
Smelt, a red instant, destroy target artifacts. It's situational, so we don't want to put it in the main board, so put it aside.
Yeah. Goblin Motivator is next. For a single red, it is a 1/1 Goblin Warrior that we can tap to give another creature haste. Now, early game, this is really nice. It gives all the creatures in the future that we're playing pretty much haste, but the problem is that late game, it does really absolutely nothing, and it also needs to work in conjunction with other creatures, so I just don't think that this card merits an inclusion.
Exactly. It's really good to give your bigger creatures, any creature, haste, but the thing is you have to play this one first and then play the other ones. So just put it aside. Quest 2, a red creatures, sorcery, and creatures you control gain trample at the end of turn, draw a card. I really love my trample, but is it enough? You need to have big creatures, you need to have creatures on its own. It does replace itself, but I don't think it warrants a slot in your deck. So
no.
Put it aside.
Sure Strike is next for 1 and a red. So for 2 mana, it's an instant that gives target creature +3/+0 and first strike. Now, this is extremely strong. This is an awesome combat trick. This is going to be able to, if worst case scenario, we put this on a 2/2, all of a sudden it's going to be able to kill a 5 toughness creature, and it won't even die itself. So that is very, very strong. Do not underestimate this combat trick.
Yeah, +3/+0 on first strike. That is really insane. You save anything you put it on.
Yeah, guaranteed to kill.
Tormenting Voice, 1 and a red. It's a sorcery as additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. So you have to discard something first, and I don't really like it because early game it's good, you don't discard any of your bad things, but later in the game, when you actually need this, you can't do anything because you don't have any cards, you don't want to discard the card you have, so put it aside.
Yeah, agreed. Goblin Instigator for 1 and a red. So for 2 mana, we get a 1/1 that also comes in with an additional 1/1 Goblin token. So that's 2 power, 2 toughness for 2, but spread over 2 bodies, and that makes it really hard to attack with efficiently. So I would say put this card aside.
Exactly. Fiashino Pyromancer, 1 and a red. It's a 2/1 Fiashino Wizard, and when he enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. Not a creature, which if it was a creature and not the rest, I think it would be amazing, because that's what's really important. Player or planeswalker isn't really that important, and that's why I put it aside.
Yeah, the body's just not good enough for the cost.
Also,
no. Catalyst Elemental for 2 and a red. We get a 2/2, which we can sacrifice to give us 2 red mana, so it could ramp us late game. But I just don't think that's exactly what we want to be doing. The power and toughness is just behind curve for what you're paying for, and the fact that we're going to be ramping is going to cost us a card to get that one-time ramp is also, I don't think, is going to be very beneficial to us.
Just not good enough. Onake Ogre, 2 and a red. It's a 4/2 Ogre Warrior. We don't really like our 4/2s, but it is still a lot of power, and that's why tier 3.
Yeah, normally we would, these cards cost 4 mana, then we don't like it. But for 3 mana, we're okay with a 3/2 as well. So now having that extra part is actually pretty nice.
Yeah,
we're okay with that. Bogart Brute for 2 and a red. So for 3 mana, it is a 3/2 Goblin Warrior. See, so we're happy with the 3/2s for 3 mana. And this one's got Menace on top of that. That means it's tier 2 right now all of a sudden, because this thing is going to be super hard to block, and it's going to come in very early, and it's going to deal a ton of damage over the game. So just as how we like our 2/2 flyers for 3, I also really like my 3/2 Menace for 3.
Exactly. A lot of power and evasion for aggressively casted.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is definitely going to be winning games as well. Yeah.
Trumpet Blast, 2 and a red. It's instant. Attacking creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn. It's only attacking creatures, so no blocking. And it's 3 mana, so just put it aside.
Yeah, and it doesn't do anything to the toughness, so it doesn't allow you to like protect yourself or anything. Next card, Act of Treason for 2 and a red. So for 3 mana, it's a sorcery. We're going to gain control of target creature until the end of turn. We're going to untap that creature and it gains haste. I really like these effects. I think they're a lot of fun and limited. When when it comes down to your opponent having, you know, a bomb and you don't have a bomb, or we both have a bomb, they have something that's better. In that situation, also, we take it for 1 turn, and that could be the deciding factor, because they're definitely not expecting they will lose a creature for that turn, and we will gain the best creature for that turn. Very strong.
It's just really insane because it just changes the combat drastically.
Yeah.
Hostile Minotaur, 3 and a red. It's a 3/3 Minotaur with haste. Tier 3, good filler. The haste is pretty nice and a decent body.
Yeah, the haste is just icing on it. I mean, a 3/3 for 4 we still play anyway. Electrify for 3 and a red. So for 4 mana, it's an instant that's going to give 4 damage. It's going to deal 4 damage to target creature. So this is essentially unconditional removal, because most things are 4 or less. So we're going to put this as tier 2 because it's still just conditional, but remember that this is going to kill pretty much anything.
Yeah. Havoc Devils, 2 and 2 red. It's a 4/3 devil with trample. Tier 3, pretty good body, and trample is really nice.
Yeah, normally we, as we said already, for 4 mana, people are trying to get us to play the 4/2s. This has got that extra toughness plus the trample. That definitely makes it a much better proposition. Lava Axe costs 4 and a red. So for 5 mana, it's a sorcery, deals 5 damage to target creature, target player or planeswalker. So this is simply not good enough. We're going to put this aside. It's a trap. Just dealing 1-time damage is not good enough. It doesn't change any of the board state, and it's quite the investment.
It is. I actually myself like it because 5 damage is a lot. But yeah, is it good enough?
It doesn't change the board state.
It doesn't.
If it doesn't kill your opponent outright, you still
exactly. So
if you out a card and your mana.
Yeah. If you're losing, it won't do anything for you. So just put it aside. Fire Elemental, 3 and 2 red. It's a 5/4 Elemental. Pretty nice. It's a good filler.
Yeah. It's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. And then the last of the commons is Spark Tongue Dragon for 3 and 2 reds. For 5 mana, it's a 3/3 flyer. It's a little bit behind power and toughness we would like to have in the air, but still 3/3 flyer is good. And when it enters the battlefield, if we paid an additional 2 and a red, so an additional 3 mana, it's going to deal 3 damage to any target. Okay, I really like this. I think this is tier 2. These flyers always win games. And late game, it has the additional upside of killing something, which is pretty cool. Or maybe doing that extra 3 damage that you needed, that extra reach to finish off the game. So
exactly.
I really do enjoy this card, and I think it's gonna have a great value in your limited games.
Yeah, it's a lot of mana, but I think the body is good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the commons. Let's have a look at the uncommons.
Our first uncommon is Thud. A red sorcery, as additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Thud deals damage equal to sacrifice creature power to any target. Have to sacrifice it. Will it do anything? Will it do enough? I don't know. So just put it aside, because you have to sacrifice something. Fighting might actually help you survive. So that's why I like it a lot better.
Yeah, you don't really want to be losing your creature.
No, just put it aside.
Then we have a Lightning Strike for 1 and a red. So for 2 mana, it's an instant that deals 3 damage to any target. Perfect. Awesome. Tier 2. This is what red is all about. Yeah. And no color does this better. It's essentially removal, but also combat trick rolled into one.
Lightning Mad, 2 red. It's a 3/1 elemental horse. This spell can't be countered, which isn't really that relevant. The body for this is pretty decent. And Lightning Mag can be blocked by blue creatures. And 1 and a red, Lightning Mag gets +1/+0 until end of turn. That's actually pretty cool. I like it. It's a good filler.
Yeah, it's just a filler.
Yeah, it is. It's still a 3/1 for 2, so I don't really like it that much.
And it requires the double red, which makes it difficult. Double cast also requires 2 red. It's a sorcery, and then when you cast the next instance or sorcery spell this turn, we're going to copy that spell and choose new targets. This is great also in Commander and Constructed and stuff like that, but just put it aside in this situation, because the chance that you have this plus your premium piece of instant sorcery speed removal is very unlikely.
Yeah, just put it aside. Dragon Egg, 2 and a red. It's a 0/2 Dragon Egg with Defender, but when Dragon Egg dies, create a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying, and red, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Just put it aside. What comes out of it is pretty okay actually, but is it worth it to play this card, then wait till it dies, maybe they have flyers or something, just get around it, and then it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, not good
You're
enough.
going to feel really bad if you can't sacrifice it yourself, which you can't guarantee. Gutter Snipe is the next card for 2 and a red. For 3 mana, it's a 2/2 Goblin Shaman, and it's going to deal 2 damage to each opponent whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell. Now, we are playing limited, which means we're playing mostly creatures and a few instant sorceries, so the value we're going to get out of this is very limited. So I just don't think that it's worth the slot, so we're going to put this card aside as well.
Yeah. Tectonic Rift, 3 and a red, sorcery, destroy target land. Creatures without flying can't block this turn. Now, commons, don't really like them as much. Also put aside.
Yeah, tragic.
Yeah.
Infernal Hellion is next for 3 and a red. So for 4 mana, we get a 7/3 Trampler. So we're saying, okay, now we're in business. You know, this is what red is going to be bringing to the table. But it also states that at the beginning of each end step, if Infernal Hellion attacked or blocked this turn, we're going to shuffle it back into our library. Oh my god, why? Why is that necessary? We were doing so well, red.
Yeah.
We were doing so well, and now we're going to have to put this card aside, unfortunately.
Volley Veteran, 3 and a red, it's a 4/2 Goblin Warrior, and when he enters the battlefield, it deals damage to target creature opponent controls equal to the number of goblins you control, which most likely only be 1. I don't think that's good enough. It's still a 4/2.
That's a terrible body.
It is a terrible body, so just put aside.
So the body's no good, and the ability's no good.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible. Siegebreaker Giant for 3 and 2 red. It is a 6/3 Trampler. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. And for 3 and a red, so for 4 mana, we can make sure that target creature can't block this turn. So whatever is going to be the thing that could actually efficiently block us, that won't be able to do it. This is actually something. Here we go, tier 2. Always played if you're in red. Because at 5 mana, that 6 trample is going to get through a lot, and the fact that it has more than 2 toughness means that it won't be able to block it with their 2/2s. And the fact that, of course, if they do have something which would be able to kill it, we can just say, okay, that thing cannot block, and then we can still attack with impunity. Very, very strong card. Very happy to see this.
It's really strong card. Fiery Finish, 4 and 2 red, sorcery, Fiery Finish deals 7 damage to target creature. Only creatures, but 7 damage is actually everything.
Yeah.
So it's tier 1 because it's actually unconditional removal.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Volcanic Dragon is the last of the uncommons for 4 and 2 red. So for 6 mana, we get a 4/4 flyer with haste. We already said 4/4 flyers win games. Usually they have a little bit of an extra ability to get it to push it to tier 1, but this is still tier 2. The haste is a nice little bonus, but tier 2, very strong. I would always play it in red, and if I've got a couple of these, you know, that's definitely going to be a nice way to finish off your curve.
It certainly is.
All right, those are the uncommons. Let's have a look at the rares. The first of our rares is Alpine Moon. For single red, it's an enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, we're going to choose a non-basic land card, and then the lands our opponents control with the chosen name of that card are going to lose all abilities, and instead they're just going to tap for 1 mana of any color. So this is great for Modern, once again, when you want to shut out some land-specific strategies. Yeah. But in Limited, it does absolutely nothing. We'll put it aside.
Exactly. I don't like this. I'm a Scapeshift player in Modern, so no, it's fine. Don't play it. Banefire. X and a red sorcery, Banefighter deals X damage to any target, and if X is 5 or more, this spell can't be countered and the damage can't be prevented. Second class isn't that important, but this is removal, this is a lot of reach, and it just gets better and better as the game progresses, so I think I always want to play this.
Yeah. What we mean with reach, we don't mean reach as in the ability from a creature, like for example Giant Spider, but we mean that it allows us to reach over our opponent's ability to block us and deal extra damage, which will kill them in the end.
Hit them in the face.
Exactly. Dark Dweller Oracle is next for 1 and a red. So for 2 mana, it's a 2/2 Goblin Shaman. So body cost is fine already. We're happy to play this. Additionally, for 1 mana and sacrificing a creature, we can exile the top card of our library and then play that card this turn. Okay, I think we don't really want to be paying mana and sacrificing a creature. Then we have to look, and then we might be able to play something. We still have to pay the cost. It's a lot of hoops, but you can still just put it in as a filler. See maybe if it does something late game. Otherwise, you don't have to feel bad about it.
Yeah, it's still a 2/2 for 2.
Yeah.
Dismissive Pyromancer, 1 and a red. It's a 2/2 human wizard. It's for red and tap. Discard a card, draw a card. Rummaging is pretty good. And 2 red and tap. Sacrifice Dismissive Pyromancer. It deals 4 damage to target creature, which also really good. And it's a 2/2 for 2. So there is no downside to this card at all, and I always want to play this.
Always. Got a couple of these that definitely pushes you into red. Spit Flame for 2 and a red. So for 3 mana, it's an instant. It's going to deal 4 damage to target creature. That's a lot. That's going to be killing all the threats that your opponent has got. And whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 red, and if you do, return this from your graveyard back to your hand. Okay, that's probably not going to happen, but still, just for 3 mana, instant speed, deal 4 damage. Very nice. I'm very happy. That's tier 2.
Yeah. Sarkhan's Unsealing. 3 and a red enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4, 5, or 6, Sarkhan's Unsealing deals 4 damage to any target. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 7 or greater, Sarkhan's Unsealing deals 4 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalkers they control. Let's just say it's not gonna happen at all, and you just wasted your turn 4, so just put it aside.
Yeah, very unlikely to be able to get any removal out of this.
It's really cool in Commander though, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
You gotta build around it. That's basically what it says. Goblin Trash Master costs 2 and 2 red. So for 4 mana, we get a 3/3 Goblin Warrior. Fine, that's fine filler. Other goblins you control get +1/+1. Cool, we got a little Lord right there. And we can sacrifice a goblin to destroy a target artifact. This is perfect for Goblin Tribal, but you've got no business trying to go full on Goblin Tribal. In limited, it's just unlikely, so... but still, just a 3/3 for 4 still means it is a filler card.
It is still a filler card.
Yeah.
Demanding Dragon. 3 and 2 red. It's a 5/5 dragon with flying. And what does he demand? He demands that he deals 5 damage to target opponent unless he sacrifices something. So, yeah, it's a 5/5 for 5 flying. That's so good. That will win you the games. Tier 1, and it's removal. The opponent can choose, but still, it will get rid of anything, or it deals 5 damage. What more do you want?
This wins games, tier 1.
It will win games.
Absolutely. Card that will also win games is also Dragon. Lathless Dragon Queen for 4 and 2 red. So for 6 mana, we get a 6/6 flyer. Bam, right there, that wins games. Additionally, whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under our control, we're going to create a 5/5 dragon creature token with flying. Unlikely they're going to be doing that, so you might as well ignore that. And it also states that dragons you control get +1/+0 until the end of turn if we pay 1 and a red. So it's got fire breathing in that sense. And of course, that means that this card also has that. Regardless of the first ability, the second ability is relevant, and it is just a 6/6 flyer, which means it is absolutely the biggest thing in the air, with the exception of the 3/7 Sphinx, which is a bigger butt. But this has got more power.
It has fire breathing anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So you can just go blast right through that Sphinx anyway. Tier 1 wins games. That's the last of the rares. Let's move on to the Mythics. The first of our Mythics is Sarkhan Fireblood for 1 and 2 red. So for 3 mana, we get a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. Its +1 is you may discard a card if you do draw a card. Okay, cool. So it's rummaging. That's nice. We can also +1 it to add 2 mana of any combination of colors. We can only use this to cast dragon spells. unlikely that we're going to be using it, so we might as well ignore that. And then the -7 is create 4 5/5 red dragon creature tokens with flying. That is insanity. That is 20 power and toughness in the air, wins games outright. I would say this is a tier 1. Does this win the game by itself? Or we're going to go tier 2, because it's going to be very unlikely that you're going to get that last one on there. And by itself, only rummaging. Every turn rummaging is nice, but doesn't win the game by itself, so that means tier 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there we go. We got to it.
The thing is, it will not protect itself and do anything, so I mean, rummaging, it will do something, but you have to first discard a card. So then, if you don't have a card, you don't do anything.
True.
And all the other +1 dragons, not really that relevant. And the ult is what you're going for. But if you don't get to it, you're not winning.
Yeah, and because it doesn't protect itself, it is unlikely that you will always be able to get to it in a timely fashion.
Yeah, so just, it's still a tier 2, because
you gotta include it in
it's
red, right?
really good,
yeah.
And you still want to play it, but it's not a tier 1 because it doesn't protect itself.
Sure.
Apex of Power, 7 and 3 red. When will you cast this?
Never.
Sorcery, exile top 7 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast non-land cards exiled this way. But I already paid 10 mana. But if this spell was cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any one color. I wouldn't be able to play this because I'm playing 3 colors, so I have to choose something and then can play it. I don't think that's good enough. I don't think even with 2 colors that's good enough.
Not at all. It's terrible.
I think it's not good enough at all because you already paid 10 mana, and what if you're only drawing not that great things?
Yeah, but even if you draw great things, but you can't cast them because you've only got 1 color to cast them in.
That's true. And you're not getting to 10 mana anyways.
No, terrible, terrible card.
Yeah.
Put it aside.
Yeah.
All right, those are the Mythics. Let's have a look at the conclusion. In conclusion, I don't think I've ever been this disappointed in red. Sure, it's got the lightning strike, it's got the shock. You'd say that's enough to make you happy. These are great cards, and it's got those big flying dragons, a couple of those. But consider how many bad cards are also in red, and you cannot guarantee you're going to get those gems, those really good ones. And I think the amount of bad cards compared to good cards in red is simply out of proportion, and I'm definitely not looking forward to having to include this color in my pre-release deck, because I just don't think it's going to have what it takes.
I think the rarity where you normally have to look at a lot is our commons, and I think we said most of the commons, nearly everything, just put aside. That says a lot about the strength of this color, and it's such a shame because I really love red too. So
not this time.
I really want to.
Yeah, well, unless you draw, you know, the only way you're going to be playing red is if you get those dragons, if you get the lightning strike and the shock, and you just splash for those things.
Exactly, and okay. then it's pretty good, and it's what I'm doing anyways.
Exactly, so you can splash for it, but yeah, just not good enough. Anyway, now we'd like to recommend that you head on over to patreon.com/budgetmtgdecks. You can support the channel over there for as little as $1 a month, and we would really appreciate it if you would help us to make more videos in the future. Also join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter on the social medias at BudgetMTGDeck, where you can talk to us and we share content over there as well. And of course, subscribe to us here at YouTube, on YouTube, for the most powerful decks and device everyone can afford. And if you do, click on the little bell button next to the subscribe button, because then you'll be notified when new videos come out. Otherwise, you know, even if you're subscribed, you're not going to get notified. I don't know why that works like that, but so you have to hit the little bell button to make sure you'll get notification when a new video comes out.
They don't want you to be bugged by things you like.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You have to let people know twice. And I subscribe, I like it, and I hit the bell button.
I like it, and I actually really like it.
There you go. So really like us and subscribe and hit the little bell button. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And this was Budget MTG Decks.